Hello and welcome back to the Gluten-Free Guru channel. My name is Tanya and today we will be making crab cakes. So for this recipe you will want, for the spices, parsley, garlic powder, celery salt, paprika, cayenne pepper, and black pepper, which I forgot to show here. You will also want 2 eggs, 3 green onions, 2 stalks of celery, about 6 to 8 ounces of crab meat. You will also want gluten-free flour, baking powder, mayo. We're using light mayo to make it a little healthier, and your choice of gluten-free breadcrumbs. So to get started, we are going to add our eggs into a large bowl and mix them up very well. Next, we will add half a cup of mayo, hence why we decided to go with light. Use a spatula to get everything out. Now we will start to add our dry ingredients, probably about 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. We can add a bit more if it looks like it needs to be thickened a bit. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Ours is double acting, so you'll probably want to use a little bit more than us, maybe about 1 full teaspoon, depending on how fluffy you like them. Next, we will add 1/4 cup of our gluten-free flour. Okay, so we're going to use about 1/2 teaspoon of parsley, but I'm just going to eyeball it. If you have fresh parsley, that would be better, but make sure you double it, because dried parsley would be more potent. Add about 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Celery salt to taste. You don't want it to be too salty, but you definitely want it to have flavor, so probably about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon. The ground paprika is mainly for appearance, so we'll probably put about 1/4 to 1/2. And cayenne pepper is spicy, so add whatever spice level you prefer for that one. Lastly, ground pepper, also to taste. Now we're going to mix everything up really well using a fork or a whisk. If you don't have all those spices, you can always use the Old Bay mix. It's also really good in crab cakes. All right, looks pretty well incorporated. So now we're gonna add all of our more chunky ingredients. So that would be our vegetables and our crab. So first, what you wanna do is just wash them as best as you can. And then we're gonna cut them up, at least the celery, as fine as we can get it. Right, let's add that. Next, do the same with the onions. Lastly, we're going to add our 6 ounces of crab meat. Okay, now we're going to mix that up. See if it needs a bit more breadcrumbs. Yeah, I think it's a little moist, so I'm just going to add a bit more breadcrumbs, about 1 tablespoon or so. Next, we're gonna get a large pan and set it to high, and grab your vegetable or canola oil and add enough so that way it coats the bottom of the pan. That's good. And once that's hot, we'll start adding our crab cakes. All right, so our little buddy's sizzling, so we're gonna add our bigger dollop into the pan. So we're gonna add them in a clockwise positioning, so that way we know which one we did first and which one to flip first. In the meantime, you can get a plate ready with some paper towels, so that way you can absorb any of the excess grease when you take them off the heat. Once you start to see the edges browning, which we can see here, you can flip them. You can always turn down the heat a bit just to make sure that they cook more thoroughly and not just on the outside. We started off with high heat, now we're at a 6 out of 10. And there you have it, gluten-free crab cakes. Go ahead and serve that with some tartar sauce or a lemon wedge, however you prefer to have them. I have tartar sauce. Crab cakes are always delicious. Thank you for watching this week's episode of The Gluten-Free Guru. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you. Once you start to see the edges browning, which we can see here, you can flip them. Oh. Okay, so now we're gonna add